And Dan just told us if we want to buy a house, all we have to do is cancel our Netflix subscription that we're good to go.
Get rid of that Chewy subscription. You
no avocado toast.
That dude wipes.
And less Starbucks.
Yeah,
and
less
Starbucks,
dude wipes. Eric gets dude wipes from Costco by the box. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the most underrated podcast in real estate, but also planet Earth, The Walkthrough, where each and every single week we bring on top industry professionals to talk trending topics in real estate in real time. My name is Dan O'Neill, and I am your co-host and El Capitan of BAM, Broke Agent Media, and today we have yet another jam-packed episode for y'all. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, the homebuyer himself, coming back from maybe his 10th wedding of the year. I mean, if this guy actually sold real estate, he probably would crush it. Coming to us live from Brentwood, California, Mr. Eric, the Broke Agent Simon. Eric, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. We got a repeat guest, back-to-back weeks, and we got some new blood, Dan. So let's see here. I'm pumped.
New blood. You make it sound like
like what?
Nothing. Speaking of new blood, today we are joined by maybe the nicest human being on planet Earth from sunny Sarasota, Dan McKinnon. Dan, before I even ask how you're doing, I just wanted to say, from the bottom of my heart, sincerely, thank you for coming to the grand opening on Thursday. It made my night. I gave you a hug as if you were my grandfather I haven't seen in 30 years or a big brother that was long lost. So thank you for that. You are truly, sincerely one of the best people that I know. And thank you again. And how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing awesome, man. Things are great down here. The weather's fantastic. Yes, it was an awesome time seeing you at that brokerage open. Super proud of you, man. You are coming out to being a super professional. But I will say it was strange, the amount of people that were looking at me weird. And I realized it's because I'm old and I don't go out that much often anymore. And we're sitting in like an Irish bar and all these people are chatting it up. And I look over in the corner and I'm just like on my email. So I did it for you. It's good. Life is good.
Dan, I think you look like a young, boisterous post-grad. I think you look like you'd fit in just fine at a bar.
Well, I think everybody just recognized Dan McKinnon because the guy sells every house in Sarasota. So they were kind of like, why is Dan here? And Dan maybe took it as like he didn't belong. But I think they were scoping you out there, buddy. You do a lot of business. How you doing?
I done.
All right. Also, First Blood, speaking of, joining us for the first time ever, we are welcoming live from Maryland, Miss Delaney Burgess. Delaney, how you doing? Do you want to leave the show yet? Are you already out of here or?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm doing great. Great.
Welcome. We are extremely happy to have you. We always love bringing on new people to introduce to the crowd because I'm sure that people get very, very sick of seeing my face, Eric's face, definitely not Dan's face, but Eric and I. So welcome, Delaney. It's a pleasure to have you. Today, we are talking the longest open house ever, debating Barbara Corcoran's comments, whether now is truly a good time to buy or not, affordability, marketing, probably a Jason Cassidy video somewhere, and much, much more. Please make sure to smash that like and subscribe button, and let's get to it. Topic number one, the typical American household is $40,000 short on path to home ownership, and this is posted by Sarah Lentz and the BAM staff. A new Redfin report shows that home buyers now need a household income of $115,000 a year to afford a median-priced home. That's roughly $40,000 more than the typical U.S. household earns. Housing affordability is at its all-time worst with sky-high mortgage rates and home prices that keep on climbing, largely due to low inventory. The required household income is up 15% year over year, while the typical U.S. wage grew only 5% over that same time period. In August of 2023, the typical American home sold for about $420,000. Pardon me. Up 3% from 1 year ago and only about $12,000 below the all-time high, which was reached in mid-2022. So with with the highest required income ever needed to buy a home right now, and I believe that's like $12,000 a year, wages have only grown 5%. People are feeling priced out. October could be the worst month in our business, maybe in 2 decades. Dan, I'll pass it to you first. Are you seeing this in sunny, beautiful Sarasota? I noticed from doing my research, the average days on market went from 4 last year to over 30 now, as I do my research on the market there.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you seeing down there? And it's just ring true to you?
Yeah, affordability is becoming a big issue here because not only have we had the past year, have we seen um, appreciation in a lot of these homes and rates skyrocket. It's before that with COVID, our area is doubled. You know what I mean? So we've seen homes, your average price per single family in the 300s. Now it's around 540 here in Sarasota County. So it's just killing people that, grew up here because our average wage is not that high. Even the national average it's hilarious. I looked it up today. It's $76,000 a year, and they're saying you need 115 to become a home buyer. So it's great because we live in a secondary market down here where a lot of people come cash, but we're still seeing a lot of young people that want to have their families down here. Schools are good. It's just tough. I was looking at it today. Since this report you can see in the article was talking about 7% rates. As of this morning, it's 8%. Just that 1% rate increase, I got it from a lender this morning, it goes up $274 a month or $3,200 a year just from that 1%. It's just killing people. So I don't know how it can continue this way. The only people that I have buying right now are investors, cash buyers, second, people that know they're digging into some good opportunity. But for normal buyers, the American dream to buy in your 20s, I don't know, man. I don't want to sound sinister because I'm Mr. Positive, but it's getting hard.
Yeah. Delaney, what are you seeing in Maryland? Are you seeing kind of the same thing as Dan here?
So I'm in a very rural area. Like I was saying earlier, we don't have like all these condo fees and stuff like that. We just don't have a lot of that in our area. So there are pockets that are still extremely affordable. Now looking back at it, the last couple of months, I do have a lot of first-time home buyers that are still purchasing, but they're purchasing with a joint income. So it's two people versus a lot of just first-time buyers doing it by themselves. But it's still pretty affordable in pockets in my area. Um, I would say that our first-time home buyer price range is still flying off the market. The kind of above 500,000 is what's sitting right now.
Yeah.
What is the average price there in your market?
425.
Okay, so right around the national average.
Mhm.
And Dan, just further in this article, just at the beginning of the pandemic, August 2020, the average income required to buy a home was just 75,000. So it's up over 50% to 115,000. Was just such an
Jeez.
enormous number. That was just 3 years ago, 75,000.
And you're buying right now, and maybe we make this into an ongoing joke. You're going to be looking for 4 years, so that way we can tie you
Yeah.
into these. But I mean, I'm thinking about it in terms of when I bought my home, and Long Island is typically one of the most toughest places to buy. Right, it's the affordability here is non-existent. Rent is $5,000 for a one bedroom. It's crazy. So when I purchased my home, my rate, I had a high 2, low 3 rate, and my with 18,500 and property taxes, my payment was still like 5,000. Let's say
Yeah.
I can't even find a one bedroom for that. So
That's
as
crazy.
somebody that's in the market right now as a buyer, Eric, how is this affecting you? I mean, this is changing by the day, by the week, right? Like,
Yeah,
I'm
we
sure your
feel
payment's going
this.
up and down.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're going to be doing it if we're doing the walkthrough in 3 years and I'm still sitting here in this exact location having the same dialogue, then please just, finish me. I don't want to do this anymore. But this has been, we have felt this the last like year basically. We've looked in a bunch of different areas in Los Angeles, and the houses keep getting smaller and smaller, and the areas keep getting worse and worse as the payments keep going up and up. And we're at the point right now where we're like, all right, well, maybe we actually just rent a house for a year and just at
Yeah.
least like upgrade, because we can't live in this little place anymore. But what would you say to someone like me, like from a role play perspective, either the Dans or Delaney, if I just say, should I just wait like a year and just see kind of where rates are going? Like, what do I do here?
Actually, yeah, Dan, if he was moving in sunny Sarasota, what would you say?
Oh man, I mean, there's two schools of thought. I mean, you could go the Tom Toole way and really kind of dive into why you're moving here and agenda and motivation and all that. But personally, if you were like you had all the boxes checked and you couldn't find something that realistically was going to help you moving forward, I'd say rent. Like there's
Yeah.
no way where like some of these people that are coming in at a $5,000 a month payment, they're not getting a brand new house. They're not getting a house that's perfectly done. So there's going to be maintenance. There's going to be water issues. There's going to be storm stuff. There's going to be roofs that need to be done every 20 years now in Florida. So
Mm.
I personally find it hard to look at someone's income and push them to be like, it's awesome. Yes, we're going to get onto the Corcoran article, and she's
Yeah.
right on that. But at the same time, I can't comfortably tell someone in their upper 20s or low 30s, be like, yeah, you know what? Live cash strapped and wait until we can refinance. Like, that's the scariest thing in the world. I like my clients.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
Eric, and like knowing your situation too, right? So if you had asked me that question, right,
Yeah,
and given your
Dan, what should I
circumstances,
do? I'm stuck here. Do I buy a house? Do I rent? I don't want to pay $11,000 a month to move into a crappy house here and
Mhm.
the boonies in Encino. So what do I do?
Well, I think that you and Ann need to have a conversation, and I need you think you should both look at your guys' income, see if you can, make that payment work for right now for a home that does make sense. Don't settle. If you can, then that's great, and maybe just don't go to Starbucks, the 95 times that you do a week, and try to cut back on some of the expenses. Maybe get rid of your YouTube TV or your Hulu subscription. I'm talking
No,
to you as a friend, but also your agent here. But if you can make that payment work for the next year, two
I don't
years, and
think.
it makes sense, then I would say to do it. But I also think that maybe if rates continue to climb and you guys can't make that payment work and you're going to be eating ramen noodles every night, then yeah, maybe find a bigger place to rent so that way you're out of your tiny little 1,200 square foot place there and make that work for the next year. But everyone is going to be different. Every conversation is different. Every situation is different.
So you
So
think if I cancel my $10 a month Hulu subscription, then I'll be able to afford a more
well, I bet you that I
expensive
bet you
home?
if
Or
you
if I
went
stop
in,
going to Starbucks once a week?
I challenge everyone right now to go into what they have, like their subscriptions, right? Go into your P&L. I saved like $3,000 a month from just like random shit that I had, like whether it
What
be
were you
Netflix.
spending $3,000 a month
It
on?
adds up.
He
Uber
probably,
Eats,
you know what I bet
Uber
he did?
Eats.
I bet he had like ESPN Plus subscriptions, but had to keep logging in at different
I,
accounts because he kept forgetting his password. So every time there's a UFC
Has
fight or
three
something,
different
he has
Netflix
like
I swear to
six
God.
accounts.
different ones that he's playing. He probably has 10 Inman subscriptions. He
Yep.
probably has 10 BAMX subscriptions, which by the way, would not cost you a thing. And that's why you
No.
should join BAMX with the code walkthrough for 10% off. It is the best subscription in the real estate game. We have all the courses, objection handling, how to handle stuff like me from Tom Tool, my Instagram course, green screen course. Delaney, are you a member yet? You have to be a member because this
I'm
will
writing it
improve your brand, help you sell more homes. Description, use code walkthrough. That was one of the best transitions ever. That's the first time Dan didn't
Ever.
interrupt me. That was fantastic. I do just want to say this about the article. Metros where the necessary income increased the most. Miami was up 33% to $143,000 a year for the average household income. Newark, New Jersey up to 160,000. And
Jesus
then
Christ.
the
Which is
metros with the
crazy.
most, San Francisco 23% to 404,000, San Jose 402,000. So I think the top seven, the household incomes required to afford a median price home in the area were all in California. So it is expensive as hell to live here. $400,000.
That's
Jeez. Great
That's
transition there, and you
thank
were
you.
right. I do have about 90 ESPN Plus subscriptions, and but I
Yeah,
will
and
tell you, if you go back
some
in,
other
I
ones.
guarantee you'll
you
find
are right. I
some
think
money.
everybody is probably not paying attention to what's snapping away.
Mhm.
Although it would be funny if that was your talk with the realtor and you asked them, like, what should I do in this situation? And their first thing to say is, maybe you should cancel your Hulu and Netflix subscriptions, as if
Person's
that's
looking at a
really going to
difference
make
of
a
like
dent.
$1,200 a month, and they're worried about the
Doesn't
$10.
say anything about the actual market or like how long you should wait or what's going to happen if rates come down, more buyer competition, negotiating power, but it's just Hulu subscription. And Dan
Stop
just told
watching Love
us
Is
if we want to
Blind.
buy a house, all we have to do is cancel our Netflix subscription that we're good to go.
Get rid of that Chewy
Yeah.
subscription you
No
get every single
avocado
day. That
toast.
dude
Exactly.
wipes.
and less Starbucks.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
and
less
less dude
Starbucks, of
wipes.
course.
Eric gets dude wipes from Costco by the box, like not even by
Yeah.
like just like the package, just by the box. But I spend a lot of money on Uber Eats. Like I didn't realize how much that adds up. I went through my P&L. I spent like $600 on Uber Eats because I'm lazy. Why can't I just go drive down the street? It's diabolical. Anyway,
I know.
topic number 2. Great transition. Make sure you are a member of BAMX because that won't cost you as much as my Hulu subscription that I don't use. Topic
That's
number
right.
2, and I love this: the world's longest open house. There are open houses every weekend, and you've probably hosted your fair share as an agent. But would you ever consider hosting an open house that lasts all weekend long? We're talking 64 hours of nonstop showing and entertainment. That's what took place in Fargo, North Dakota this summer when Kyle Olson hosted his 3rd annual world's largest open house. 64 hours. From Friday morning until the late hours of Sunday in June, Kyle Olson embarked on a 64-hour open house marathon. This year's longest open house beats his previous record of the last 2 years at 61 and 62 hours long. You could think of it more of like a summer fair or a summer fair than a typical open house, with hourly live streams, late night showings, food, raffles, events, cardio classes, yoga, artwork, cookies. Everything was there. Olsen's son Tucker joined in the record-setting event, and it's a beautiful picture here too, by hosting a lemonade stand for 12 hours for the first day of the open house. But what is even more special is that this event, and why he does it, is not for clicks and not for social media, but it's a yearly fundraiser to support the fight against Alzheimer's disease. So this relentless illness had robbed him of his precious moments with his father. So each year, the summer solstice marks the longest day, the day with the most light. It's also the day where people from across the world fight the darkness of Alzheimer's through a fundraising activity of their choice. And on his fundraising page, Kyle said, "My father suffered from some of the longest days I could ever imagine. Sometimes it felt like his day would restart every 6 minutes. And the amount of energy his mother had to expand caring for him made some of these days heartbreaking. Fortunately, the longest day is the day of the year with most light, the summer solstice, and it's a day that I've committed to fighting Alzheimer's disease. I'm participating in the longest day of the year, a fundraising event to advance the care, support, and research efforts of the Alzheimer's Association. And during this year's event, Olson raised $10,000, all in the name of Alzheimer's research, and it's a testament to the power of combining real estate, passion, and a good cause. And the impact of this year's event will undoubtedly bring hope and support to families affected by Alzheimer's." Whew. All right, that was a tough read. Do we have a video, Eric, to put up really fast? No? Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah. Haley,
yes.
play Kyle's video. Thank you.
Yeah. Fuck.
The atmosphere is so inviting, you'll just find yourself there. The events are so varied, some have confused it with the state fair. The cause is so noble, diseases everywhere are getting nervous. In connection with the Alzheimer's Association of Minnesota and North Dakota's Longest Day campaign, it is the longest open house.
I don't always sell homes, but when I do, I fight Alzheimer's. Stay thirsty, my friends.
So
That's awesome.
he kind of mixed in like a Christmas poem. It sounded like a Grinch type of thing, and then did it with the most interesting man in the world. So I love that video. I love what Kyle's doing. He also donates 10% of his commission on every deal to Alzheimer's, which is really incredible. So this is a 64-hour open house, raised tens of thousands of dollars. Really cool concept and idea, and I love how he mixed in charity with his real estate business. Dan O'Neill, I know you do this a lot, and you've done a ton of charitable things. I know I've seen some stuff with at the dog shelter, and some stuff you've done with mental health recently. So if you want to talk about that, and then we could go into what we've done for charities in our real estate businesses.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we always, I mean, growing up, I didn't really have much. So my father would always, would always take us to like these outreaches where we would feed the homeless. And it was just kind of something that was always instilled in me, when I was young. So when I joined the brokerage that I'm with now, I wrote it out on that post, but I wanted to continue that, right? And part of my goal was to have my own foundation where I could choose, whether it be animal rescue, whether it be mental illness, depression, breast cancer awareness, military heroes, whatever it might have been, just to kind of hear me out on some of these crazy ideas, i.e. me painting or dyeing my hair pink a couple weeks ago for breast cancer awareness, the dog shelter, like you had mentioned. And for me, it's just something that like service, right? And giving back and having people kind of getting around a cause. We all have voices, right? Like I didn't even really, I didn't really have Alzheimer's on my map, right? On my radar, because I've never dealt with that before, right? Usually I pick causes that maybe I've gone through or that are familiar to myself. But now, because of Kyle's video and this incredible effort that he has, like I'm all in. If he needs help next year, I'm at that open house, right? So because of that, and more specifically recently, this breast cancer awareness one that we've done, the amount of people that either via social media or that were even in my office that sit next to me that I had no idea were breast cancer survivors came up to me and were like, "Hey, by the way, I haven't told anybody this, but 6 years ago, 5 years ago, I had a double, I don't know what the correct term is, so I'm not even going to say it, but I survived." And I was afraid to share it because I didn't want people to judge me or right. I didn't want people to feel sorry for me. And it gave them the motivation to go out and speak on it and motivate and inspire others. So that's why I always love tying philanthropy and tying a good cause into our real estate work. And it's something that I truly am so passionate about. So Kyle Olson, if you're listening next year, I will be there at that open house with you. Dan McKinnon, and you
I
are
love it.
Mr. Positive and Smiles. How do you tie some of this into your real estate business? And what did you think? Could you last? Could you survive 64 hours at an open house? I don't.
I have questions. Because the minute I read this, I was like, I got to do this. I got to beat this guy because I'm competitive. And I'm just like, I got to do 72 hours now. And then I read more and I was like, he has such, because it's such a cool concept. I mean, especially in this market right now with listings being dry, our days on market are going sky high. This is creative central. I mean, you're getting people there for different reasons. He has all those little creative flyers for all the different events and stuff. Like, how cool. He's making it his own. I love his confidence in it. Like, he just, he's like, F it, I'm doing this with all this kind of cool stuff. I love it. And the fact that he brought it all back to what motivates him is super special because, I got into real estate after years in just regular business, dirty old business, nothing fun stuff. And I realized how fun this is to be able to be connected with so many people and make decent money where we can give back. And so I think that it's super cool that he gives that 10%. Like, that's crazy. I mean, most of us look at that 10% as like, that's vacation. Like, and this dude's over there giving it away and giving back. And I'm sure that he makes much more of a connection in his community doing so. And I just think it's super special to be able to find something that gets you going. Like, Dan, you've had a lot of stuff close to your heart that you've worked in and worked on. And I just think it makes it so much more impactful when you're able to shine a light onto something that needs that light through our platform. I mean, our platforms may not be huge, but it's something that people are listening. So this is just awesome. I was, at first I wanted to beat him. And then, like you said, Dan, now I like want to join him. I'm like, dude,
Right?
how do I get this going more? I'm like, this is awesome. Like, do we have the same, do I support the same one and send it to his dad? Do I cut him a check? Like, what do I do? Because it's a really cool thing.
It's the same mindset, right? When I saw the video, I was like, all right, we got to get mid-rise out there, right? Like how do we help now? And I've never met him before. I don't know
maybe
him.
I'll just have an open house the same day and like live stream it to him and just, it's just really cool though. It was, especially when we're just filled with like the classic, look good on Instagram, nice car, showing up the luxury houses that no one's actually selling. It's cool to read this stuff. Like, it's nice to actually know that people care.
Mm-hmm. Delaney, what did you think of the open house? Would you be able to last that long? And would you be able to do 64 hours? What would you need there at that open house to survive 64 hours? Like, I wonder if he actually went home or if he literally just stayed there the entire time. That is a genuine question.
That's what I was wondering is, do you get a break? Like, does someone can your assistant pop in and like take over for you for a minute while you go home and nap? Or like, how did that all work?
I think to get the world record, I think like he's really got to, I think he's got to be
gotta
there.
say.
Yeah.
You gotta say, I'm sure. So no, I don't think I could do it. But when I read that, it literally brought a tear to my eye because he is clearly so passionate. I'm tearing up right now. He's so passionate about this cause where it didn't even matter if he was staying there for, 64 hours?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't matter. I'm sure he was so happy to do it. So in our mind, it's like, oh my gosh, how did he do 64 hours staying in the house? But he's clearly passionate about it. And it was probably just easy for him. So I thought it was such a good idea. And like you were saying, Dan, it's in a market right now, you have to be creative and you have to be doing things like this. So I don't think that I could last that long. I would want to think that I could, but I need my dog. I need way too much caffeine. I need my bed. I need all the things. I'm too high maintenance.
Speaking of high maintenance, Eric couldn't survive 2 hours there.
That'd be a 20-minute stream on my end.
20-minute stream.
Yeah.
Eric,
I could really last a 3-hour open house. I wonder if his seller, it'd be kind of funny if the seller was like watching the stream and kind of paying close attention to like how he's talking to clients, like it's a security camera. I'm sure the sellers are super, super cool about it, but he also got 40 sponsors for this thing, which is awesome. So there was like constant food, and I'm sure title reps and mortgage companies and other local restaurants and everything. So it's like a huge community event where I bet so many people just went, not even to see the house, of course, but to see Kyle, to donate to the cause. And he's just creating such a strong community around that. Like, that's the best press you could possibly get, is that right there. Yeah. But you're correct, Dan. I would not last that long. What would you, if you had to choose 3 items to take with you to a 64-hour open house, what would they be?
I
We'll
literally
start
had that same question listed out because I wanted to ask you three, what would it be? And mine would be a case of energy drinks, some gummy bears, like the big, massive one from Walmart, like the massive
like
$12 gummy bear thing.
like pot gummy bears or just straight gummy
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
bears?
just
Or just-
regular gummy bears.
Do you think Dan's that? What? Come on.
Come on.
No,
Come on.
yeah.
Come
What a
on.
Come on.
ridiculous
Come
question.
on.
Yeah. So
He
you
does
so you would
smile
have
a lot.
gummy bears
For the kids.
He does
Gummy
smile a lot.
bears?
Haribo.
Okay, what would your third
Haribo.
thing be?
My third would be just a big tub of protein powder. I could live off of that.
That's
Just-
psychotic. Protein powder, gummy bears, and energy drinks.
Yeah,
So just
you
straight
can live-
food. Okay.
water.
Delaney,
Yeah,
what
just
about
straight
you? What
food.
are 3 items you would choose for a 64-hour open house?
My dog. Definitely not a case of energy drinks, coffee, like endless supply of coffee. And then probably like my favorite snack too. So like some chips.
Yeah,
I-
that's
I
good. But you would
wouldn't say
also need
I would say
food for your
full-
dog. So your second item has to be food for your dog.
Ooh.
Okay.
Assuming the places actually no, if you're getting sponsors and there's sandwiches and stuff, you could always
Right.
slide your dog some salami or something.
I was gonna say a pillow, but we probably can't sleep. So
Yeah, assuming you just have to stay up for 64 hours.
Yeah.
Dan, what about you? I think I know what you'd
Uh,
bring for all three
I,
items.
why don't you take a guess what I would bring? How about that?
I don't know, your sandwich, your sandwich, your vape, and
That's what I was gonna say.
and a
2 for
suit,
2.
probably. Yeah, I don't know.
You're two for two. I didn't think as far as the third one, but yes, you were 2 for 2. What would you need? I know what you would need. You need baby wipes, a bidet, and you would need
Oh,
a
jeez.
a fanny pack of Listerine strips, eye drops.
You think
eczema
I would bring a
cream.
bidet and wet
Cetaphil.
ones? That's just doubling up for the same result there. That's psychotic. No.
What are your 3?
I would bring a little baseball bat, those ones that they like hand out at minor league games. So
Mhm.
when there's like dead zones, I could stand in front of the mirror and practice my Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa, just practice my batting stances. I would bring a laptop, of course,
Ooh,
so I
forgot
could
about
be getting people's information.
Mm.
And yeah, I like the idea of having a huge tub of coffee because if you're staying up that long, energy drinks they get me too wired. They get me psychotic.
All right. Well, shout out to Kyle and that amazing cause. And if you see this or hear this, Kyle, if there's anything that we could do next year to help or participate, I know from BAM, for us, for everyone that's on this right now, everyone listening, we would love to help. So please let us know how we can. And yeah,
Hell
that
yeah.
was a great article. Great video. All right. On to topic number 3. Barbara Corcoran. Everybody's scared. Everybody's scared. I'm a little bit scared how much Botox she has. Barbara Corcoran says now is the very best time to buy a house, and here is why. By the way, that was not a chirp at Botox. It's just her face sometimes doesn't look like it's moving while she's talking.
Just a chirp at her.
While the housing market may seem rough, thanks to interest rates hitting a 23-year high, real estate mogul Barbara Corcoran thinks it actually might be the best time for prospective homeowners to make a purchase. Haley, can we tee the video up, please? Watch her
This
face
is
not
going
even move.
viral.
Yeah, her face doesn't even move. I don't know. That's crazy. It's like,
Hey, I'm sure you've heard that interest rates just hit a 23-year high. And you know what that's doing? It's pushing more buyers onto the sideline and they're going to wait it out. Let me tell you something. The days of the 2 or 3% interest rates are never going to come again. Forget about that. But they will come down. And you want to stay in the market. And I'm going to tell you why. The minute they drop and come to anything with a 5 in front of it, the whole world's going to jump back in the market. There's going to be no houses around and prices are going to go up by 10% or even 15%. So don't get out of the market. This is the very best time to buy a house because everybody's scared.
by the way, shout out, she is the GOAT. So like that was not any.
Don't worry, you don't need to retract your statement.
All
You're
right,
good.
okay. All right. Well, she's the GOAT. So Barbara is arguing that now is the best time because rates will drop. Dan McKinnon, what do you think about Barbara's comments?
I
You agree or disagree?
She isn't wrong. I don't know if I agree or disagree. She isn't wrong, but most people are tapped out. I mean, for the majority of people right now, it's not their reality. Credit card spending is at an all-time high. It's just crazy for people out there. So she's right, but hard economic times always create the biggest opportunity. So the only people out there right now are the cash buyers or the people that are willing to listen to what she's saying. It sucks that there's too many uninformed buyers that don't know enough about 2-1 buy downs, about newer conventional products, trying to go different routes like buying a duplex or triplex. Like there's so many different ways to get it done, but I do think that just at the end of the day, we have too many uninformed public members that just are tapped out credit card wise, tapped out payment wise, not making enough. So I don't think she's wrong. I guess I agree with her.
Delaney, Agree, disagree?
I agree with Dan. I don't disagree with her. I don't agree with her. It just depends on everybody's situation. I also made a video after the first video that Barbara posted, I think earlier this year. I made a video kind of saying the same thing, that just buy now while you can, because the second the rates do drop, it is true. The floodgates are going to open and everyone's going to want to do the same thing, just like what happened a couple of years ago. But in the same breath, not everybody is in the position to buy at an 8% interest rate like we know today. So I agree and I disagree. It's like, if you can, great. But if you can't, it's fine too.
I might have to play Darth Byron here for this episode. Eric, you're buying right now. Would you agree?
I'll just say
Disagree?
the same thing that I said in the first segment.
Yeah.
No, look, here's my opinion on this. Yeah, she's right. If rates drop to 5%, which we're a long ways away from, of course, there'll be a flurry of buyers coming in. But what I love about this video, because she has made, you're right, Delaney, she had a viral one, I want to say 6 months ago also, that a bunch of realtors and home buyers and sellers all jumped on and reacted to. This is the perfect sort of content for real estate agents to use in their marketing. So I would not just reshare this and be like, hey, listen to Barbara Corcoran. I would react to this. I would maybe duet it on Instagram and TikTok, or I would remix it where she starts as the hook, and then I would explain what's happening in my market. Hey, in Sarasota, inventory levels are here. With interest rates at this, you could afford this. And then here are all these other packages to refinance down the road. Like, actually explain what's going on in your market and use her virality as the hook for your content. I think that's the best thing that agents can do with this sort of piece, as opposed to just either agreeing with it or disagreeing with it, or just like getting mad in the comments about it. But Barbara's great at creating these viral videos by just making a statement and saying it's the best time to buy because of this. She knows this is going to get clicks. We're talking about it right now. So I would use it in your marketing. I would blog about it. I would do what we're doing, maybe do a YouTube react to it and explain exactly what's happening in your market.
I agree with all of your guys' points, and I kind of struggle with this a little bit, because while I thought I agreed, I think I actually disagree. And the reasons for this, so I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I'm going to play Uncle Darth Byron. We are in a time right now where we are almost on the brink of World War III. We are at a record level of credit card debt, student loan debt, oil prices, all of the above. Affordability is at the worst it's been since like 97, right? It's over 20 years, in 2 decades. October is going to be probably the worst month for real estate in over 2 decades, I would say. The median monthly payment for home buyers will cross $3,000 this month. We are paying $4 trillion of stimulus back, and the 10-year treasury note and credit card debt. That is the biggest thing. For some reason, you go to the mall right now, it is mobbed. Right. So we're talking about all this debt now. People aren't making enough money to go buy a home. But if you go to the mall, there are thousands of people. It is insane. But the reason for that, and the reason that the Fed is not taking into account, they believe that we're spending money because we have it. Right. We're spending money because we have it. People don't have it. People are living paycheck to paycheck. They're just using their credit cards at a 21% interest rate, and they're racking that up. And that is what they are not taking into account for. So in my opinion, I don't think we're going to see 5 or 6% interest rates in the next year, 2 years. So her giving the advice of buy now and in a year you're going to go to 6%. I don't think that's happening. I don't think that we're going to stop at 8. I think we're probably going to see 10, and that's just the honest to God truth. So that's why, to your guys' point, every situation is different. But if you really look at everything going on in the world, the treasury, how much debt we're in, the geopolitical landscape of everything going on, I don't think that rates are going down in the next year. If you can buy and you can afford it, in your situation, yes, but I disagree with her. I think
what's going on with malls? You're saying malls are more packed than ever?
Yeah. Have you been to the mall lately? I mean,
no, I haven't. I'm not a high school kid going to Orange Julius trying to get away from my parents. When's the last time you guys have been to the mall? There are
I haven't been in
mall attendance. I'd be willing to bet is down hundreds of percentage points.
Honestly, he was so on target. The entire rant was beautiful, and then the mall thing, I'm like.
Okay, the mall thing was yanked out of your ass. Where are you getting this mall information? Just because you had an anecdotal experience where you went to the mall and there happened to be more people there, it's because Christmas is coming up. That has nothing to do. That has nothing to do with the overall economic home buying situation.
I go to the mall. Okay, I go to the mall quite often.
Yeah,
if I'm being
you go to Prada and spray yourself in cologne.
I do. That's actually Louis Vuitton, but yes, it's exactly what I do. But I went to ICG or whatever it is in Sarasota. So Dan knows what I'm talking about. It was absolutely flooded with people.
It is.
And then I came home and I went to the mall. And again, yes, maybe because it's Christmas time and it's Black Friday and all those things. Fine, sure. it was packed. I couldn't even get a shoe from Aldo. So the point is that they don't take into it. They think that we're spending. We still have money. They're not taking into effect or account that people are running their credit cards up, and we have a record amount of credit card debt at a 21% interest rate for these credit cards. They're not taking into account all the debt that everybody has. People are living paycheck to paycheck. 40% of people can't afford their mortgage right now. All of these things, they're not taking.
It didn't help that the CPI numbers in like the last economic report came back high. So I think that Dan's right in the fact that we're going to enter Christmas season and it's going to be more spending. People are going to put themselves more into a hole. And what we're going to end up with is that's what the Fed wants, though. The Fed wants to see this. They want to see such a dive down in all of this spending that then they can go, okay, now we can give relief. Mostly because, I mean, this is a whole different discussion, but what goes into their numbers, you can believe it or not, what's active or not, because there's so many things like oil being, artificially priced out. But either way, it just sucks right now. It sucks for anyone in that middle ground. I think our first time or even second time home buyers are just getting crushed.
Yeah, let us know in the comments if you've been to your mall recently and what the attendance is. Is it up or is it down? I'm very, very curious about this. I think right now it possibly will be up just because we do have the holiday season right around the corner, but I don't think
Look at even
mall
Amazon.
attendance is an indicator of economic prosperity. I think malls
What about Amazon spend?
The Amazon spend maybe, yes, but I think malls are just a dying breed in itself. Like no one goes to the Tucson Mall anymore to go to Sam Goody and get a pink CD. It's not the 2000s.
The pretzels are good. The cinnamon covered pretzels.
Yeah.
The mini ones.
Did you ever go to Sam Goody and get an Xbox game, get a CD, get the M&M show or something, the parental advisory one?
Go to
Sneak it
GameStop
by your parents. Yeah, go to GameStop. Play a little.
You guys should go to the mall. You guys should culture yourselves and go to the mall more often. All right,
do a
you can see
live
more
stream.
people. Go smile. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Maybe I will go live stream. But the point of it is they're not taking into account any of these numbers. And what's going to happen is just like Dan said, people are still going to spend money because of Black Friday, because of the holidays. So they're going to add that into the reports for the next couple of months. And I would not be surprised if we do see rates go up even further.
I just know as agents, we could rationalize this being the best time to buy whenever it is, right? Like
Always.
if rates are going down, it's a better time to buy because rates have went down. If rates are going up, it's a better time to buy because there's less buyer competition and the buyers have more negotiating power. So you could really use any of this and say whatever you want. I think that's why so many people are so annoyed with real estate agents, because in 2020, you could say it's the best time to buy. Rates are at 2.5%, 3%. This is incredible. But then you have so much buyer competition. So you could just say whatever you want. But shout out Barbara Corcoran for making these viral videos. Green screen it, remix it, duet it, go to the mall.
Yes. Last thing though, Eric, to your point, I agree with you, but I think this is the first time that now maybe is different, at least from my perspective and from what I'm seeing, where I think that it's better to tell people to hold off if the situation gives it. All right. Anyway, topic number 4, marketing of the week. Jason Cassidy. Does he have another sushi video?
Yeah,
what is he saying? Date the rate.
We have a marketer.
Buy the house.
Yeah, exactly. Date the rate, marry the house, buy the mortgage, sell your mall. We have, before the market of the week, I just want to say this. Haley, if you want to pull up this Instagram from Brock Johnson real quick, this is pretty incredible. I'm sure a lot of you have been feeling this, and we talked about this on the walkthrough last time, but the average Instagram reel reach right now and engagement is down 76%. Photos are down 17%. But you know what's up, Dan? Carousels. The engagement on carousels are up 15%. So if you look at this caption, he said, here's an easy carousel template. Find one of your best reels from the past few months, take the transcription, what you said, break it down into 10 or less bullet points, open up Canva and create a 10 post slideshow, and then do a bonus hack, add it in the caption. So turn your reels into slideshows. I love this idea from Brock Johnson. So go back into your old content, pull some of your reels, pull some of your market updates, and throw some text on it, maybe some images, and make it into a slideshow. All right, moving on to the marketer of the week. It's something spooky, Dan. It's something spooky, Delaney. This is one of the best videos I've seen. You guys may have seen it from our good friends, Derek, Gregory, and co. Let's watch this. The Exorcist.
I think you're really going to like this one, Sean.
Wow. Bigger than I expected.
You know, the seller's actually pretty motivated.
Is someone home?
Shouldn't be. The seller wasn't supposed to be here, but I'm gonna go check if you want to look around for a minute. Yeah? Okay. Reagan? What are you doing here?
I don't feel so well.
We got a showing. I got a buyer here.
It's my house.
I know, and I'm trying to sell it.
I will do the showing.
Reagan, we talked about this.
I will do the showing. Nobody knows this house better than I.
Stop. Settle down. You're getting worked up. Hey, man. Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem.
Seller's actually here. He's not feeling well. But what do you think of the place? You like it?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Dude, it's such a good space for entertaining. Yeah, look, did you see the lines?
Tell me about the reverse.
This is the game room.
Tell them about the dining. And the master. It's custom.
Do you think the seller would help with closing costs?
No!
Possibly. Reagan, we got an offer. It is $5,000 under asking, but it's a pretty solid offer. What do you think? The power of the purchase price compels you! Okay, I'll sign it. You got the house.
Awesome. So when do I get possession?
What did you say?
Possession of the house. When do I take possession of the house?
Oh, yeah, like 30, 40 days, yeah. Yep.
All right.
That was so good.
I mean, that was a masterpiece. The Exorcist music, the fact that Reagan is the name to the possessed girl in The Exorcist, the puke scene, the pee scene is a scene directly from the movie as well, but it's water. That was brilliant.
So good.
I haven't seen it yet. That's why that was genuinely my like actual reaction. And I hate the fact too. I shook Shane's hand and told him that I was going to be in that, and then I let them down. That was 12 out of 10. That was so funny. My face hurts from laughing.
I know, it was great.
And
Shane's a great possessed actor, I think.
Dude, he
really good.
Goes full into character when he shoots, man. I mean, him and Derek just go full blown creators in that moment. It's just I've done a couple videos with them, and it's crazy to see them create, and they're just it's really cool to get to see what they come up with. So
yeah, that was fantastic. Delaney, do you have any Halloween videos coming up? Any sort of spooky content planned for the next 20 days?
I
10
don't.
days?
I was going to post like a cheesy thing about being your realtor for Halloween, but no, I don't have any spooky content coming out. I can't think that far. That's a lot of thought and
planning.
time. That was really good. I don't know these guys, so I'm gonna have to follow them. That was really
no need.
creative.
These guys are complete clowns. Don't follow them. No,
and if
follow
you
them.
follow
Derek Gregory, Shane Bergman. They're fantastic.
Your engagement will actually go down if you follow Shane.
Exactly. I think Shane's is going to start ticking up though. If he keeps putting out just fire content
putting
like
out
this
stuff for so long though. Like it's been so good for so long. It's wild that he doesn't have like 50,000 followers.
Delaney, we do have an October content idea blog that I could send you after this that's on nowbam.com. And then we're also doing masterminds and stuff in BAMX, which you should use codes walkthrough for 10% off. Doing bi-weekly masterminds. Yep. Write that one down. WALKTHRU, 10% off. It is $10 a month, folks. This is an absolute no-brainer. Join BAMX, join the community. Best courses, best trainings, best platform in the game. Everybody, thank you so much for attending the walkthrough. Everybody follow, is it Delaney Burgess Real Estate?
Yes.
Delaney Burgess Real Estate. She's your Maryland referral. Follow Dan McKinnon. Follow Danny Deals. That's a hell of an episode. Thank you guys, and we see you next week for our spooky Halloween episode. Ooh, Dan, what are you going to be dressed as?